Hello everyone, right now we're at Minsk. Welcome to StarLadder StarSeries Finals, and here with me, one of our casters, Noxious. Hi.
Hi.
My first question is, what's your impression from the venue?
I think the venue is actually like I got the first one the first time, which was a little bit more like in a net cafe, like a really big place. But the venue here feels a lot more like Hearthstone, I guess, right? Like it's like a tavern and everything, so it looks really cool.
Yesterday, other casters, they said that atmosphere is kind of intimate here. What can you say about the atmosphere, about the audience?
Yeah, the audience is really reactive. Sometimes you have audiences that are like very quiet, but here I think they're like all talking about the game amongst themselves, and then when something happens, they just all freak out over it, which is really cool because sometimes you end up with audiences that make it a bit boring, but everybody here knows the game and they're excited to see it, so it's really good.
What kind of tournaments do you like more? Like the previous season in Kyiv, with this big audience, or something like this?
I like this one a little bit more. I think even for the organizers, maybe it's a bit more simple because you have a smaller area to manage. And from a caster's perspective, it feels a little bit more intimate, and just because of that, it makes the entire feeling really better overall. You're with people that enjoy the game, and there's no stragglers just kind of passing by that don't know it. So it's cool. I like it like this a lot more.
Well, let's discuss the games. What can you say of Group A? What did you expect, and what do you see now?
Group A was a kind of interesting group. Like the setup as it is, I like that 6 people are moving on to the second phase. And I'm kind of sad that the Chinese player got knocked out of the first group, and I really hope the second one makes it through. The most unexpected thing, I think, from Group A was the Murloc Paladin from 2 players. One of them got eliminated, but Clento got 3-0. So Murloc Paladin is kind of the big surprise, and we haven't seen it in Group B. Like, Group B plays none of that stuff. So I'm not sure what that says about the deck, but it's really nice to see a little bit of novelty, I guess, despite the fact that we're about 2 months into the new expansion, and you think we've seen a bit of everything, but really, the new cards are still changing the game.
Do you follow Chinese scene?
I do a little bit more than I follow the Korean scene. I feel like I don't know all the Chinese players by name, but I've seen a lot of their decks and their metagame, and so I'm kind of happy to see that. Like, I didn't really know the player from Group B too much. I knew, however, the player from Group A, which is why I'm a little sad that he went, but I was expecting Love to make it through the initial I-League qualifier, but he got knocked out early by some of the players that are here.
Okay, what can you say about Group B? Who is the strongest player?
The strongest player, I would say Stan Sivka. I would probably pin him as the strongest player in the group, but I say this because I'm a bit biased. Like, I really like the guy. Like, I think he's one of the greatest players that are a bit under the radar of people. So when I see him play, I appreciate it. I appreciate the novelty that he brings to decks. And I guess ultimately what I'm looking forward to from him is a bit more, like, I want him to win the event so that he wins 2 events in a row, so that the consistency of his performance is just acknowledged and people finally recognize him and remember him. So I think Stansivka would be the biggest player.
What can you say about his lineup? Because, every tournament his lineup is super weird. Yeah. What can you say about that this time?
So he brought Priest, which is really, I think he's one of 2 players who brought Priest overall. The rest of his lineup is very standard. Like, there's nothing unusual about it. He sometimes brings a weird twist to decks, but we haven't seen anything completely out of the ordinary yet from him. I'm just hoping that his Priest, that we get to see the Priest today, and that it actually contains cards that we're maybe not used to seeing. He was actually playing a little bit of a Priest thing during the break, and he was playing like a kind of control Priest with Flash Heal, which is a card that you really don't see too much of in tournaments. You've seen a lot of it on ladder, so I don't know. I think the lineup overall is pretty fair. It's very targeted.
By the way, as long as we're talking about lineups, Doc also has Priest, and his lineup is kind of old school. I don't know. What can you say about it?
Yeah, the lineup from Dog is like super control heavy, and it's aiming to counter aggro. The problem is he hasn't run into any of it because Group A was more control oriented. Like, Group B is very aggressive. Group A is super mid-range / control in a combo Murloc Paladin. So Dog's lineup would have done 10 times better if he just was put in Group B, which is interesting because, like, he made it through anyway, but maybe he would have been first place instead of being third place if he'd just been in the other group. Pretty funny.
Actually, he told me on the interview that he expected many aggro decks. That's why he picked his lineup. Okay, your prediction for finals, grand final?
All right, so Colento's already in semifinals, so there's a good chance we see him go through. I want to say I'd like to see Stancifka versus Colento. I'd love to see that as a kind of grand finals. It would be a really good moment. But yeah, I mean, I kind of want to bet on that since I think Colento is the strongest player from Group A. Maybe Jab in Group B if he recovers from what happened, a little bit earlier. Maybe is able to make it to the top as well. I'd love to see Jab versus Colento, maybe Jab versus Stancifka. Like these three players, I think, are really solid.
Let's discuss tournaments at all. What do you think about new system from Blizzard with Blizz points and stuff?
I mean, I think it's still, it's better, but it's still the same, a little bit of the same problem where to get the points from ladder, when you play the game online at home, you have to absolutely play the most in the last day. Because every single day you play during the month almost doesn't matter since it's all about who ends up the highest on the last day. So that system on its own, like the ladder system, makes the whole point system a bit flawed. But the fact that you also have a lot of players who are invited who get points for it, that's really good if you're a player that deserves that invite. Let's say a lot of players who deserve to be in events, but it feels unfair to a lot of the player base because they don't get invited necessarily and they feel like they deserve a shot. So you see a little bit more open qualifiers, which is what I love about events that have like a large pool of players that can enter it.
Okay, no more questions because you have to go soon. Maybe some shout-outs or something like that.
Yeah, shout out to Complexity, the team that I'm with, and obviously the sponsors that are sponsoring the team, which is Soylent and Amino at the moment. So I feel like shout out to the organizers here as well. You guys are doing a great job. I've been here like 2 events, and it's always been pretty much as good as it could get. So shout out to you guys.
Thank you a lot. And see you guys later.